Hey everyone, I'm Vasanta from Smart Tech Guide. In this video, uh, I'm gonna talk about earphones. How does it affect our hearing capability, and how may it improve if you have hearing loss? How may improve your hearing with the earphone? We'll talk about that. Nowadays, earphones are very usual. Everyone uses earphone every day, everywhere, every minutes like that. If you are going to gym, or if you are running, or if you are calling someone, if you are watching video, if you are listening to music, anytime most of the people watch uh, these things with earphone connected on their ear or the over the head. So what kind of earphones are good, and what are the major things we need to take care during the earphone plugged into our ears? That are the things I'm going to talk today. um, there are different kind of hearing loss, like noise induced hearing loss. It may occur even without earphone, but uh, nowadays it's very much increasing, that with consistent hearing from the earphones, and louder volume within the earphone makes it's more and more cases of the hearing loss with earphones. The noise induced hearing loss is basically the exposure to excessive loud noise. It may be once like very loud sound, blast or explosion, or some kind of impulse, uh, or it may be consistent listening some kind of loud music with loud volume over an extended period of time. Anything may be the reason, but exposure to those kind of things cause hearing loss, and it can't be corrected surgically. That's the major part, right? We cannot recover our hearing back if we lost the hearing with noise induced. CDC has an estimated 12.5% of children's, that's 5.2 million, approximately 5.2 million children of age 6 to 19 years, and 17% of the adults of age 20 to 69, and that's approximately 29 million, have suffered permanent damage to their hearing because of excessive exposure to the noise. That means all kind of exposure, like loud sound, blast, explosion, impulse, or even continuously listening to music or anything over an extended period. According to 2011 study published on the Journal of the American Medical Association, the use of headphone and earbuds had led the major increase in the prevalence of hearing loss in the young and the adolescents, even in adults. So that is very much increasing, and we need to take care on those kind of things. So that's why I thought this is very useful, and I came up with this video. How does it affect hearing? How does loud sound or consistent hearing affect your hearing loss? The key danger here is volume, or the decibel of the music or any sound, the pitch, how loud is it, that is the main key danger. And when the sound reach our ear, it cause our eardrum to vibrate. Eardrum Once your eardrum vibrates, vibration is carried through all the way to the cochlea, that's the inner part of our ear, through small joints of bones, and the cochlea is basically fluid filled chamber in our ear that contains many thousands of small hairs, and that are the essential for hearing. The vibration and movement of those tiny hairs is the key part for our hearing system. With loud noise, however, the movement is so high, and those tiny hairs loses the shape, like bend or fold or even break, and the most of all is it loses sensitivity, and some of that may not be some of that may be temporary, but some of that may not be temporary, and it may not come back to original shape, or it may not get back the original sensitivity even after pausing some time for the listening. So these are things we know, and how does it affect hearing. And even if the shape returns to original state, the sensitivity, the lost sensitivity may not come back. That's another aspect of the hearing loss. And let's look at the role of earphones in hearing loss. As you know that how does the hearing works and how does it impact. Because of the vibration, the higher the vibration, the higher the movement, and it may cause the inner tiny hairs to break or go out of the shape. Over the time, the sounds from our headphone cause the hair cells to on the cochlea to bend down too much, or it may even break, and it may not come back to original state. And if they don't get enough time to recover, and we keep listening to loud music, it will permanently damage the hearing. And the length of the continuous exposure is the main reason here, beside the volume. Like if you hear higher volume for 1 minute, it may be okay, but if you hear it for another 60 minutes, then it's danger. So on top of volume, the length of the continuous exposure is another part we need to take care. Decibel is the unit of sound measurement. We have different level of sounds that can be heard easily, or that can be difficult to hear, or that can damage our hearing capability. I'll go with that in the next slide. But with this, the decibel rating for each headset may vary. So we need to look at the ratings, and basically we need to examine ourselves and do not trust anybody else on these things, and which sound is appropriate for your ear is depending on you. I may need 60% of volume, you may need 50%, or you may need 65%. But it's not good idea to hear the music above 65 to 70% on most of the earphone or the headsets. And for example, one of the classic iPod earbud at 100% gives 112 dB. That is too much, and it may damage our hearing. You will see the chart over in the next line, and which is 60% volume. With the same earbud, if you use 60%, it will be 80 dB and it doesn't impact your hearing. But if you use 100%, it will impact your hearing. Let's look at the chart. This is the chart I brought from CDC official website. I can paste the link in the description section if you want to look at the details, but I put some of the examples on top of it, on top of the charts. Let's say 10 dB, the sound is measured in dBA, and 10 dBA is breathing sound. 20 dBA, around 20 dBA is kind of whisper. Telephone dial, it becomes 80 dBA, and city traffic, that's 86. Heavy traffic on the highway, that's 92 dBA, and jackhammer at 50 feet away, that's around 95 dB. Now it goes up and up. If you hear anything below 90, you may be able to hear up to 2.5 hours, but do not listen anything that long. Even if it's a low volume, it's a good idea to pause for some time so that our system come back to the original state before we hear more or before we listen to more. And if we hear or listen to higher volume sounds like handrail at 3 feet, that gives 101 dB, and lawnmower at 3 feet, that gives 107 dB. Power saw or the rock concert, it gives 113 dB. If you are going to concert and if you are not using any sound protection on your hair, you may be able to expose to the hearing loss, that kind of thing, because it's high, and if you consistently listen to that high for maybe an hour or two, then it's very dangerous. And this line shows how many hours we can hear. Breathing, of course, we can hear a maximum 25 hours or 25 hours, 24 minutes. City traffic, it shows like 6 hours is okay. For heavy traffic, 1 hour and 35 minutes is okay. But if you go above 90 dB or 95 dB, then less than an hour is preferred, and even it's not recommended. The recommended sounds are less than 90. That's what I highlighted here in green. And aircraft carrier deck sounds like very high pitch, it around 130 to 140 dBA, and with 150 dBA, if you hear it for half minute or so, you may end up rupturing your eardrum. So these are the things we need to take care, and do not listen to high loud musics, and be prepared for anything that has higher sound or higher volume. If you are working on airport, try to use protective devices on the ear, so it covers the sound and you don't hear loud sounds. Those are the prevention we can do. I'll come up to that in the next slide. Prevention. The best habit is to use low volume on earphone or earbud, anything you hear. Even if you watch on TV, watch on low volume as much as possible. If you are using earbud or earphones or headset, anything, use try to use noise cancelling. With noise cancelling, the main advantage here is with the cancellation of noise, you can hear even a very low volume of the music, or call someone speak on the other side of the call. So noise cancelling is really helpful. Not all the earphone or earbud has noise cancelling, but nowadays most of the earphone does have noise cancelling. So that's you should choose or you should go for noise cancelling headphone if you are buying one at this point. And if you are confusing about whether to buy over the head earphone or headphone, or in earphone, in that case recommended is go for the over the head earphone. That's more safer than the in ear, because the louder music go, if you use in ear, it goes nearby. That means the louder music or louder sound will go nearby your eardrum, and that's more dangerous than listening from the outside. So preferred headset is over the head, head earphone. Try to reduce your exposure, reduce the time that you spend with earphone or headphone, anything, or even just watching TV. Try to minimize the sound you listen. You can't avoid all necessary sounds like speaking to someone, but you can always avoid unnecessary sound, or you can always reduce the exposure volume, so that helps you on the hearing loss. The best recommended is a 60-60 rule. Always use 60 or less volume percentage, and do not use more than 60 minutes at a time. Take break and listen again at different time, but do not listen to anything more than 60 minutes consistently. Identify the source of the higher sounds and try to turn the volume down if you can do. If you cannot do, try to reduce that exposure by moving away, going away. And if you can't do that, if you have to work on that high sound environment, then always use the protective device, so that you won't hear high sound. It will cover and it will save you. Like I said, use a hearing protection device when it's not feasible to avoid exposure. Modern earphone or headset may assist in hearing if you have already lost hearing. The previous things are like how to stop or how to minimize hearing loss, but this is nowadays couple of branded earphone or earpod comes with a feature that is basically kind of live listen. Apple called it live listen, some other manufacturer may call different, but that's essentially the same thing. With that, what you can do is you can actually use your earphone to hear the external sound, and what does that do is it avoid hearing unnecessary sound, one thing, and it controls the higher volume sound so that you can hear only the desired amount with that feature. And not only Apple, but most of the branded earphone nowadays comes with this kind of feature. It may be expensive for initial purchase, but it's worth buying those good headset or headphone, so that you won't have a problem hearing because of that. So that's all about it. If you have anything and if you want to know anything, just hit me on the comment section. I'll come back with video or any answer. If it can be solved without video, I can just comment it back. Let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe and share my channel and videos, like my Facebook page, and don't forget to click on the bell icon next to subscribe button to get notified of my future videos. If you haven't watched my previous videos, go ahead and watch. Feel free to comment if you like to know something or have feedback for me. Until next video, have a good time. Bye bye.